So before I start, I have a couple things I need to say. First of all, I think my face is gonna look weird in this video, and that's because I have a bunch of sunburns because I took a 8-hour hike yesterday on a mountain. So like my legs actually are really sore right now, so I don't feel like walking, and I have sunburns across my arms. I should have worn sunscreen, but I never do when hiking, and I didn't think of it. So, but I'm gonna review a bunch of albums. It's not like this is not gonna be a video that's really that organized. It's just gonna kind of be me going through everything I've listened to this year. And I'm not gonna do it by release date or anything. I'm just gonna do it on the ones I've listened to. I'm not gonna review anything I've already reviewed fully. I'm gonna give everything a score. I'm not gonna go through like the track list or things like that. I'm just gonna give my overall thoughts on the album, give a review for it. I'm not actually sure how many I have here. Last time I think I was able to say how many albums I wanted to review, but I don't have a specific number here. And that's because, well, the reason why I'm doing this is because like last couple weeks ago last month, I made a video like this, but the thing with that was I didn't like this is everything I've listened to in July, by the way, but I didn't like have a specific I just did everything I'd listened to at the time. And then now what I'm doing here is I'm just saying everything I've listened to since then. Like, I've gone back and listened to albums that had already come out way earlier this year that I just want to get my thoughts on. Popular albums like the Allegory and Alfredo. So, yeah, let's do it. Let's review a bunch of albums. Positive, good or bad. It doesn't matter. Just review them. First up, I have an album I was planning to listen to last time, but I didn't get to it. It is Royce da 5'9's The Allegory. I didn't hear this album before the last video, so now I've heard it here. Royce is like one of the rappers whom I almost respect the most, and it's not inherently because like I love his music, and I'm not like a die-hard fan of him. I haven't listened to enough material to even call myself a die-hard fan. Besides this, I've only heard Book of Ryan, and I guess I've heard the sequel, but I've only heard that because it's Eminem. But The Allegory is, I'm forgetting what number of album. It's the newest album from him, and it seems like he's almost coming into his own prime now. Maybe that's from Eminem featuring with him more. I don't know why that is, but in 2018, he brought a fantastic album, Book of Ryan. I love that album. And I also kind of love this. I thought this was a very nice political style album. It's not like he's ever, I feel like he never goes out of his boundaries during The Allegory. It's obviously not an album that you're going to go back and listen to over and over again. It's pretty lengthy. It has like 16 songs on it. But it's still a really interesting album to listen to. It's interesting to hear all of his political points, his ideas, his points about racism and economics and things like that. It's actually really nice to listen to. Nothing on this album has actually been, there's not really many tracks in this I found myself revisiting, but I know that's not the point of it. I've revisited the track Hero a lot. I love that song. It's one of the best songs I've heard all year, honestly. But like other than that, none of these songs are like things I keep going back and like re-listening to, because they're all, nothing on this album, this isn't like the next To Pimp a Butterfly, and he obviously knows that. I think he just has political ideas and things he just wants to get off his chest. So he just thinks, great, I'm going to make a very obviously political album. Even though it's not really an allegory, I still enjoy this fine. I think that this is one of the better of the two Royce albums. I don't like this more than Book of Ryan, but I love how personal the Book of Ryan was, so I wasn't expecting it. I'm giving The Allegory an A- because I don't really have any negatives about this album. It's just not the most revisitable album of the year. Next, I have an album that I did actually listen to in time to most likely review it. I need to scroll back down to it. Because I ended up listening to this, I would say around, like a week after it came out. So I would have been able to review it, but I chose not to review it for the simple reason that I didn't feel like I could say enough, and I was just going to wait it for this video. And that is G-Eazy's Everything's Strange here. I'm not really too familiar with G-Eazy. I've heard what his main projects are. I've heard all of his big singles. That's pretty much it, though. And I can never be more discouraged to ever listen to another album from this guy. I don't know how this was made. This is seriously one of the worst albums I think I've ever heard. The best part about it is it's 30 minutes. But it is 30 minutes of pure boredom and pain. He's trying to do some emo pop thing. It really doesn't work. The themes are annoying. They're really bland and repetitive. The lyrics are awful. The production is actually some of the worst I've heard in a very long time. I don't even really know what to say on this. This was just terrible. Every single time I hear a bad album, usually there's like that one song I kind of enjoyed. Not a single song on this album that I didn't just hate. This is seriously one of the worst albums I've heard in a long time. If These Things Happen Too does end up coming out later this year. My expectations are not high. Everything Strange here is an F. It's an F. I would only give it anything higher if there was anything to like about it, but there really isn't. Next, I have an album from one of the most respected figures in modern hip-hop for a very good reason. I have Alfredo by Freddie Gibbs and the Alchemist. Prior to this, I've actually never heard a solo Freddie Gibbs album, unless you count all these as solo albums, because he's the only one rapping on them. But thus far, prior to this, I'd only heard, obviously I've heard Pinata, freaking-tastic album, one of the best of the past 10 years. I've heard Bandana 2, just because of how much I love Pinata. I've heard Bandana 2. I don't think it's as good, but I think it's still a great, great project. Maybe my favorite of 2019. I'm trying to think if there's another album in 2019 I liked more. I thought Bandana was amazing. But now he's brought to us Alfredo with The Alchemist. Alchemist, another legendary producer. Probably not as legendary as Madlib, but he's still great. And what I ended up learning from this album was I'm impressed by Freddie Gibbs' way to have... He has a very lower voice, which I didn't expect first time listening to him. Like, when I first heard Pinata, I was really surprised by that. But I really love this. This is a great album. This is a album that's really seems like he recorded a lot and only took the best. It's only 10 songs, 30 minutes. It gets kind of slower as it goes. There's a lot of more mellow, slow beats on this. There's a lot of fantastic features, like Tyler, the Creator. There's also not much to distinguish every song. It feels like it's all kind of one interconnected piece. And it's not just Freddie Gibbs that makes this such a great album. It's actually more The Alchemist. I think Alchemist produces amazing beats, and then Freddie Gibbs uses those beats very well. I think my favorite songs in this would probably be, I love the almost more intense horrorcore of God is Perfect. Something to Rap About is a great song because it just has the most themes on it. Tyler's verse is fantastic, and I love that instrumental. 1985 is kind of a nice, kind of rockish song. Overall, this is a great album. I want to listen to more Freddie Gibbs projects. There's just so much collaborative stuff he's done. And I don't know what's like the good, because I want to listen to his solo albums, which there's only 3 of. But yeah, this was honestly fantastic. I'd give this, I'm not going to go too high with this, I'd give this an A-, because I don't think there's anything that blew my mind, but fantastic, enjoyable album. I think the only album this year I've heard better than this was probably Circles. I hope there's more good this year, because I don't want my second best of the year to be an A-, but great project. Absolutely fantastic. The next project, though, you already know is not fantastic, and I don't even need to describe why it's not fantastic. This album caused me to try and revisit, or not even revisit, I don't know why I said that, listen to every album by the man himself, Nav. So, Reckless, Bad Habits, and now Good Intentions. Reckless and Bad Habits are awful. I think Bad Habits is the worst album from last year. And I've heard Confessions of a Dangerous Mind. I hate everything on that album. But Good Intentions, his third album, unless you count his earlier mixtapes, is kind of just... It showed promise, actually. I don't think with the other albums there's any promise going in. But this had we had actually a really good single. That's what this album has over the other two. It has a good single. Turks was actually a great track. I liked Travis on that. I thought, actually, Nav was pretty fun on it. I thought he used himself well on that. But when it comes down to this 18-song, 50-minute trap album, you will find enjoyment in Turks and literally nothing else, like the rest of the Nav albums. He proceeds to do the same thing over and over again. Some of the worst, and I mean the worst lyrics I have heard in recent times. My God, I hate Nav's voice. I think he has such a horrible voice. There are some rappers that have annoying voices, but Nav says something about it where he's trying to rap what these other rappers are doing, but he has none of the delivery, none of the passion, none of the excitement. I hate this type of rapper. I think Lil Baby is similar to this, but I think there's something about Lil Baby that's just totally bland. I hate the way Nav uses himself. And this is just 18 songs of nothing. He tries to get emotional halfway through. He completely fails. Why are people giving Nav solo albums? Why is this thing? The only thing I enjoy off of any of these albums are the features. And they're not even good features. Just that's the only part of these albums that ever works. This is a D, honestly. I don't think I can go D- or F, because I did still enjoy Turks, but dang, this is a bad album. Not good. Not good intentions. You had bad, whatever. I don't know what I was going to say there. Just bad album. Next, I have a 7-song EP that inspired me to listen to a rapper that I surprisingly enough found to be one of my favorite rappers of all time. And this is only in the past month that I've actually listened to this guy. He's somebody, yeah, obviously you've heard of him, but I think he's a rapper whom doesn't get the exact recognition he deserves. This album, this EP, got me to listen to this rapper. And that rapper is Denzel Curry. I've only heard Ultimate from him prior to listening to this. So I start with 32 Zell, Imperial, Taboo, and Zoo, and I loved every single thing. 32 Zell is a fantastic EP. Imperial, oh my god, that is such a consistent, unskippable album. It is just 30 minutes of amazement. And then Taboo, that is one of the best albums in the past decade. My god, every song on that album is just amazing. That's such a no-skip album. And then 32 Zoo, or not 32 Zoo, what? Zoo wasn't the best. I thought it was my least favorite of all four of them, but it was still great. Had some of the most energy he's ever given. And Unlocked, this EP, is amazing too. I actually think this is my third favorite after his main two LPs being... I haven't heard Nostalgia 64 yet. I want to listen to that. It wasn't on Spotify. But, like, of all of his main albums, I think this is one of my favorites. What makes this one so good is it feels like it has that energy that Denzel uses, but it doesn't get insane. Like, if you listen to Taboo, that album is insanity at points. Like, the final few tracks, my god, are so vicious. And also, same goes with Zoo. That same energy is, like, translated back onto Zoo. This feels like Denzel always has energy. That's what I love so much about him. But this has that energy, but, like, it's not as heavy. And I think that's actually because of the amazing production from Kenny Beats. I haven't watched the short film for this yet. I really want to. But overall, the way this album progresses, the way it continues to throw themes and ideas at you, I almost feel like this is an album that you can't just hear one song from. I feel like you have to sit down, unless it's 17 minutes, just listen to all 7 songs in it. I don't think this is an album you have to have heard other Denzel Curry albums to get. I want to listen to this, and I want to watch the music video or the film for this, because I feel like maybe it'd give me more context that there's a story here. But if we do see another Denzel Curry, we probably won't see another Denzel Curry album until next year. But I hope we get another Imperial Taboo thing, because I really love this guy. He's honestly up there. Honestly, being totally honest, I think he's up there with rappers like Joey Badass and J. Cole. Like, I love those guys. I actually, by the way, I just recently finished all 4 Joey Badass albums. Love them. But I think Denzel's amazing. I don't know why people don't love him as much as me. I'd give Unlocked an A-. This is great, honestly. I could listen to this over and over again. Next, I have an album from an artist that didn't really strike me as that important on first visiting. He seemed like another rapper whom seemed like he was kind of in the same lane as Roddy Ricch, where he's kind of doing the same trap, he's in that trap lane where he's like rapping he's using DJ Mustard beats, he's doing songs with Lil Baby, things like that. But that album I'm referring to is Polo G. Last year's Die a Legend didn't really strike me as anything that important. I really don't think I've really gone back and revisited anything from that album. It was still B quality, okay. But The GOAT, that's a good album. This is a great album. I had no expectations for this to be great, but it turns out it's 16 songs. Well, most of them are actually really entertaining. It's an album that's just a lot of fun. And it's not afraid to get emotional, political. It's an album that it's what great rap albums should sound like. It's not focused on a theme. It's not focused on one idea. It's focused on either being total ramble fun, like songs like Go Stupid, or being kind of real and emotional, like songs like Beautiful Pain, D&D, or 21. My favorite song off this actually really made me happy to hear was Wishing for a Hero, where he uses the beat from Tupac's Changes, which honestly I had no expectation for, and that just made me happy. What makes me happy about that is Polo's in this area of rappers that have totally forgotten legends like Pac and Nas and Biggie. But this song, he's like paying tribute to Tupac, and he's in this lane. It was really nice to me to hear this. And I don't really feel like this was going to be a better album. I'm so excited to hear what Polo G's next album is. If this guy plays his cards right, we could hear another one of the best of the decade. I'm not saying right now he's at that point, but pretty soon he could be up there with rappers like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of somebody whom he feels more in that lane of, like maybe YB and Corday, like that. He could end up being that good. I'd give the GOAT, once again, an A-.
Actually, I'm going to give this a B+. I do really like this album, but I feel like I have given out A- a little much this year. And also, I don't think this is quite A- quality. So B+, that sounds good.
Because I've given a lot of these albums that rating, but I quite liked this. Can't wait to hear more from Polo. I only listened to this album. I never heard anything else from Future before this. So I only listened to High Off Life because I knew him and Lil Uzi would be doing a collaboration. We got 2 singles, which I listened to. So bland. But we'll be hearing a collaboration from them in the next few weeks, most likely. I don't care for either Lil Uzi or Future. I don't think either of them have anything that interesting going to them. High Off Life doesn't help with that. This is an album that I actually think shows a lot of potential in it. There are some songs on this where I actually got kind of emotional. Like, Future actually, the way he uses his voice, it can get pretty powerful at some points. I think the song that works best on this would be Life is Good, because I think just that Drake verse is just amazing. I don't know what he does about it, but just the way that beat works, the way Drake delivers everything, it's just such an amazing opening. One of my favorite songs of the year. I don't care for Future's part of that song, but when he gets emotional on some songs like Accepting My Flaws, Up the River, All That, it works. But the problem is that it's also 21 songs long, and most of those are just boring, obnoxious trap bangers. This is just kind of a middle of the road. I didn't care about it. I really just didn't have much to think. I didn't like, when I was listening to this, I never really got blown away by anything. It's just kind of repetitive, not really anything interesting. He never really goes anywhere with this. I don't really even see, I haven't heard anything else from Future. I know he has like 8 albums prior to this, but I don't want to listen to them anymore because I heard one of them and I got bored out of my mind. Yeah, I'd give this a C+. There are some good tracks on this, but it's just way too long for me to call it anything good. Okay, My Turn by Lil Baby. Why is Lil Baby even a thing? Why does he have any recognition in rap? He has done nothing. Like, he literally makes the same music that everybody else is. Yet for some reason, this album hit #1 months after it came out. It's still one of the most popular rap albums in the world. It's 20 songs. This made me just hate Lil Baby. This is nothing. This is literally nothing, the album. Like, I can't remember a thing about this. And I listened to it like a couple days ago. The beats are not good throughout it. That's the thing that works best about this. The producers somewhat do okay. But most of these features, these songs, I guess my favorite on this was Forever, and I don't even remember what that song sounded like. My God, looking at this track list again, I don't remember a thing about this. I hate it. Why is Lil Baby a thing? He has produced one of the most boring albums ever, and it got a deluxe version that's double the length. My Turn's a D-. Because if I can't remember a thing about your album, is it any good at all? Is it any good? I only have one more album I want to talk about today. I actually did think of including 2 albums here, because West Side Gun is the person I'm talking about. He has released 2 albums this year, but I have yet to listen to, what is it? I mean, I don't even remember what it's called. Fly God is an Awesome God too. I already don't think that's going to be amazing, because I mean, I think it's going to be good because like West Side Gun's a good rapper, but I already think it's just going to be like the same as the original. It might just be this Pray for Paris and Fly God is an Awesome God 1 just combined. So I'll listen to that in the next day or so, but I'm talking about Pray for Paris right now. This is an album that I didn't go into expecting anything great, and that's mostly because West Side Gun's never given me anything great. I've ended up like, so I've only heard 2 of his projects out of his like 30. He's released so much music. But I'm somebody who wants to get into Griselda, that's it, yeah. I want to get into them. I would have heard of Conway and Benny are great, but I got into West Side Gun because of Pray for Paris. And I find it weird because Westside's somebody I like never have been able to take seriously. Maybe that's just because of the fact that he literally treats himself like he's a gun. But maybe it's because he uses the voice AZ uses on Life's a Bitch by Nas. Like, he's very similar to AZ. And I think that kind of creates this level where he, for some reason, he's usually not like flowing on the beat, but he really works with everything. He uses soul, jazz, classic beats. And I didn't expect anything from Pray for Paris, but I was surprised to kind of love this. It's not like this blew my mind, but this was a nice kind of quiet album. Like, he uses the soulful jazz beats, but he uses them to a nice extent. This is the highest produced he's ever been. The beats obviously are great across this. I think some of the features, like on 327, he had Tyler the Creator and Joey Badass on the same song. How is that not something I'm gonna love already? And songs like George Bondo are great too. Nothing on this ever felt like rushed. I never really felt like there was a song in this that you could just remove, because it's like every song has its own themes, its own ideas. It's just a good album, and I love the way he almost makes it feel kind of classical, but also more soulful. Yeah, Westside Gunn has a third project in a couple weeks, which I'm just excited for, because after this, I'll listen to Fly God is an Awesome God too. But yeah, Westside is somebody whom definitely we pay attention to him. Maybe if I do listen to Conway and Benny, I know Conway drops this Friday, but if I listen to maybe them, maybe I'd like them more than Westside. But truth be told, of the 3 Westside Gunn albums I've heard, I enjoy him quite a lot. I think he's somebody who I want to hear more from in the future, and we will hear more from him in the future. So yeah, that's everything I listened to this entire year. I didn't actually give you my rating for Pray for Paris. I'd give Pray for Paris an A-.
Once again, I'm going to move this to a B+, because I don't think this is A- quality. I feel like I abused this rating a bit when making this video, so I'm trying to move it down now. Like the GOAT, this is also a B+.
Another A-. Loved it, though. It's a great album. Yeah, that's everything I've listened to since the last video. I'll continue to review albums until the end of August, where I'll make another one of these videos. I have a list right here of just albums I need to listen to, so I will get to them soon. There are like 50 albums on this list, so I'll have a bunch next time too. Yeah. What is your guys' favorite album on here? What do you think I should listen to? If there's any albums that you think I should hear, or what I should just generally speaking check out, thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time. Bye.